America's Heroes Group Roundtable with partner Jesse Brown VA Hospital, which works for us all. And June is LGBTQ Pride Month. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but yesterday President Trump signed some legislation rolling back President Obama's 2016 health protections for people who are transgender. And that was yesterday, June 12th. That was the 4th anniversary of the Orlando, Florida Pulse nightclub mass shooting, where 49 people died at the hands of a deranged gunman. And here to discuss and to talk about these things with us are our guest of today. But I want to make sure you understand that Cliff Kelly is still with us. He is listening, I'm sure, at his other engagement. And also executive producer Glenda Smith, digital media producer Manny Corazani, and also assistant media producer Titus Williams. Okay, so our panelists are calling in. We have 4 people on our lines right now, and we will be talking about this LGBTQ Pride Month and VA diversity. I wanted to say hello to Cassandra Johnson, who is the U.S. Army veteran, and Jesse Brown, VA Public Affairs Officer. Also, Dawn Collar, U.S. Army veteran and acting chief of the EEO program at Jesse Brown, VA. And we have Becky Powers, a licensed clinical social worker at Jesse Brown and co-founder of the Jesse Brown VA LGBTQ Special Emphasis Program and LGBTQ Veteran Care Coordinator. In addition, we have Larry Luscri, and he is the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Program Manager and LGBTQ Veteran Care Coordinator at Hines VA. Welcome. Okay. Hello, Lori.
Say welcome again.
Hi.
Hi. And Cassandra, Chandra, we have you on, and Dawn, and Becky, and Larry.
Lori.
Good afternoon.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Yeah, we have you here to talk about this important topic, especially during this month where we are looking at a lot of the issues surrounding the people who are in the LGBTQ community, and to make sure that we are paying attention to them. Many of them are the service members who have worked with us in combat. When I was overseas, I did a couple of tours in Iraq. I was very proud to have those people standing by me. They had my back, I had their back. And when we come back to this country, we should have their backs as well. So what are your thoughts on this?
This is Becky from Jesse Brown VA. and the LGBT Veteran Care Coordinator.
Yes.
I completely agree. The VA's mission is to serve all who serve, regardless of their sexual orientation, and regardless of their gender identity. And, especially in June, given that it's Pride Month, and during the pandemic, we're not able to do as many things in person in the city as we usually are. I think it's really important for people and veterans to understand, that we do treat the LGBTQ population. We have specific resources at Jesse Brown for this population, and we're, doing everything to make sure that they have the health care that they need, just like everybody else.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that because I really worry, and especially right now, we're in a time where we have protesters walking through the streets for rights, and this is really going back to the basic human rights. I think they enumerate about 30 different basic human rights, but we actually have to treat everyone like they're human. And we've had declarations in the past, but these are things that actually they're not legally binding, but they give you a groundwork for making some soft law. So they're usually well-respected soft laws with politically authoritative language. But then we have those things are conventions where multi-party treaties that are designed to become legally binding, and they usually include prescriptive language and very specific language, and usually are concluded by a long procedure that frequently requires ratification by the state's legislature. So as we're going forward and we're talking about how do we cross this divide of racial injustice, the divide of gender injustice, this seems like it would be a natural fit into that kind of process where we start talking about these issues that our LGBTQ community are facing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is Lori Luskery, the Health Promotion Disease Prevention Program Manager and LGBT Veteran Care Coordinator at Hines, and just echoing what Becky said, in June during LGBT Pride Month, Becky and I and the level of federal healthcare system as well are out in the community making sure that folks know that they can get their health care at the VA, that as long as they're eligible for care, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, that we are here to serve them and provide their medical and mental health needs. Mm-hmm. And that's our message in June strongly, and certainly all throughout the year. As Becky said, during the pandemic, it's been hard to get out there and make sure that people know that we are still here as a VA healthcare system to serve all of our veterans, and that's just really important. So we are thankful for this platform to be sure that we're able to get that message to folks continuously.
Oh, fantastic. Good. So what are some of the special challenges you see them facing?
Well, I think just, sometimes getting programming off the ground has its own challenges, I think anywhere, not specifically to the VA. At Jesse Brown, we started our programming, some of it in 2013, and it's grown from there. Right now we have a special emphasis program that's for LGBT identified staff. We have an LGBT work group of staff that works to streamline veteran services for our LGBT patients. And then in 2016, all VAs were required to have an LGBT veteran care coordinator, and that's what myself and Lori are. And so our jobs are really to make sure that LGBT identified veterans have access to the care they need. That means putting programming in place. It means putting education initiatives in place. And it means kind of thinking creatively. I think that, sometimes one of the challenges in working in a large agency is just kind of, getting things done and those concrete initial steps. And sometimes it just means thinking creatively and acting creatively to try to figure out what the best solution is. That's what we try to do.
Yes. And I wish Cliff were here to tell one of his favorite stories. I'm going to really mess the story up because he's really good at telling it. But he always says that he interviewed one gentleman who was in the military, and he was in a Vietnam era where he actually was combat ready, and he had to actually shoot a few enemies that were threatening the troops, and as a result they gave him medals for it. So when he got back, he was a gay man, and he kissed someone, his partner, and they then they basically threw him out the military for that. And he said, they gave me medals for killing people, but then just for kissing someone, I was thrown out of the military. And that is really a tragic situation when we just don't pay attention to the honor and the respect that our veterans should be getting, just for having put the uniform on, never mind fighting in combat. And so what do you think that people out there need to know about the special services that are available to them, and how can they call you? How can they get in touch with your agency in order to make sure that they're getting the benefits they need? Are there any special helplines, those kinds of things?
Yeah, I think, one of the things we struggle with is a lot of people see the VA as an extension of the military, that we're going to have the same, regulations and same policies, and that's not necessarily the case. And so we really try to get out there and inform people that, the VA is a safe space for you. We want it to be a safe space for you. We do our best to make it that way, and we're also kind of continually growing and changing to make it better. If Jesse Brown patients want to reach out to me directly who identify as LGBTQ, and you're not sure, what we have to offer, or, you're running into roadblocks, my direct phone number is 312-569-5941. So they can always call me directly. Oftentimes we put together kind of specialized care plans to make sure that we're meeting their needs, so I can help with that.
Oh, do you want to repeat that number one more time for them?
Yeah, it's 312-569-5941.
Great. Doing great work out there. And yes.
This is Dawn Kolar. I wanted to make sure that I also make sure that I put out there that we are a very diverse workforce, especially Jesse Brown. We're one of the most diverse hospitals in the nation.
Yes.
And we have programs, not just the LGBTQ, and we also put A on there for the allies.
Okay.
Which Becky, she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I always tell her that. But we also have for the other, populations and demographics. We also have Federal Women's Program. We have the Hispanic Employment Program, people with disabilities, African American Employment Program, American Indians and Alaska Natives, and also the Asian American and Pacific Islanders Program. So we have, because we are so diverse, we have different ways of acknowledging and including everyone into the different diverse work groups that we have, and educating people on our diversity and respecting the diversity and including everyone.
Fantastic. Yes. And I know my mother was a social worker for over 65 years in New York, and she would be very proud of all of you, and especially Becky with the licensed clinical social worker background. That is something that I grew up with, seeing how important it is to be empathic with people and making sure that you pay attention to what other people's needs are, as they're going through these trying issues. So what can a general person do in the general public to support this? Because we sometimes want the groups of people who are affected by these negative things to be the only ones involved in making sure that things change. But what's your advice to people in the general public and even our legislative bodies, as far as not telling them what to do for policy, but, just in general for them to be aware of certain things?
So this is Lori again, and I would just like to say that I think one thing that folks can do is just be informed. I mean,
yes.
Just like we've been saying, that the fact that LGBT veterans can get care if they're eligible for care, regardless of the era that they served, even if it was the Don't Ask Hotel era, etc., they can still get care, and I think that that's a huge misconception. A lot of times when we're in the community, we talk to people who say, well, I am not a veteran, or I am not an LGBT veteran, but my friend is, or my brother is, or my cousin is. And I think that it's really important for all of us as a community to understand that, just because you right now listening to this program or knowing what we do, you might not be the person that you can share that, or that needs that knowledge, but you can share that knowledge with other people. As Becky said, people can call Jesse Brown directly. They can call me if they want to get their care at Hines. Every VA has an LGBT veteran care coordinator, so just looking it up on the website, we all have websites that list the services that we can provide, as well as our emails and phone numbers. And also to say, making sure that folks want to work for a place that's diverse, as was mentioned. I mean, Hines and Jesse Brown both have been acknowledged as healthcare equality index leaders by the Human Rights Campaign. So that's a really important thing for people that want to work for a diverse workplace and also want to get their care at a place that is a leader for LGBT care.
Excellent. Thank you. I've been always impressed by Jesse Brown VA. I watched the evolution over the last 26 years of my military service. I retired back in 2010, but during that time, I saw it take gigantic steps forward and giving the care to our veterans that they need. So I applaud and thank all of you. But, we're going to have one closing remark. If you would like, whoever would like to take that charge on, you can make a comment. But I'd ask you to give one really quick positive story of something that happened with someone who showed up that actually where you see a transformation in their lives and you were proud of it. So, Chandra, you can take that if you like. Shonda? Or Dawn. Dawn would take it as well.
I'll take it.
Okay.
This is Becky.
Oh, Becky. Okay.
I think, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize that we offer is all the services for the transgender population. And all of VA, Hines as well, provide hormone replacement therapy. We provide all the mental health treatment and proper diagnosis that you need to receive care. We provide all kind of prosthetics devices that you might need. We have a whole array of services that are specific to the transgender population.
Excellent.
And not a lot of people realize that. And one of the things that we're really proud of at Jesse Brown is our vocal retraining program. Okay. And so we have a speech pathologist that can actually work with our transgender patients to kind of train their voices to sound in a way that's more aligned with their gender identity. And we've had a couple vets that didn't realize that was a service that we offer. And once they, started working with this person and kind of seeing the transformation that this vocal pathologist has had with them, it's been really kind of remarkable. It's one of our more popular services.
Oh, you should be proud of that. And we're running out of time, but what I want to do is I want to thank all of you on the line, and please have the audience stay with us. We'll be tuning back in and return right after the break. But with that, I want to say that we need to have you back again, not just during, the month of LGBTQ, because this is a issue that is with us every day of the year. So thank you very much.